Hi everyone, I made a music video. This one that's playing in the back. I made it for my piano teacher, and more than a video, I think this is like a very long visualizer with several scenes, collage style animation, and I wanted to take this opportunity to break down something that I did for this video. Specifically for this part right here. If you'll see, specifically for this part right here, you can see I did some sort of like Texas switch where the song is done and she floats away into oblivion. And I wanted to break down a very simple character rig that I used for this specific part, because the rest of it is not a character, it's actually her playing. So yeah, let me show you how this is done. Let me first, where should I put myself? I don't know, probably here. Okay. So, first of all, yeah, okay. So what I did here is I actually recorded her. If we go here, you can see this is my footage. She's not actually playing this. I put the song afterwards, but she was listening to it while she was playing. So she's dressed all in black, and I put this white background so that we had like a bunch of contrast. So what I did is that I actually rotoscoped her. You can go here, roto brush, and you can do this, right? And I rotoscoped the whole thing. And with that rotoscoping, I made a matte layer, which would be this. Yeah. And so that way I have her all isolated. And I have matte for an ink so that she appears at the beginning. You can see here. Okay. Like this. But then I brought this to another comp, and out of collage cuttings, you know how it is with me, I have a bunch of piano layers. I made the seat, and I made, here's the seat. And this is the side piano, and I just took it to pieces, right? Here. I only kept the original keyboard so that we can actually see the keys being played. And so I have a character from this side, a character from the back, and a character from the front, and so I changed them throughout the whole video here. This is my timeline, this is where it starts. The song is called The Waves. So this is what's happening. She's like playing, and she goes into this imaginary world where it's like she's caught up in ocean waves, and like kind of like oblivious to what is happening around her, because she's so inside of what she's doing. Has a bunch of parts, but I really wanted this to happen, right? So we go right here. Let me put this a quarter of quality because this is too slow now. So here, let me see if you can see it. This is the footage, but then this transition comes in. Wow, we have a character. I did a text switch in her, and then the character floats away, etc., etc. I knew that I needed very simple actions, so the rig shouldn't have to be like that complicated. But let's go and make the rig again. So let's get to it. As you can see, I have her here in Photoshop. In the same day that we were recording the video, I asked to take a couple of pictures. So this is a picture that it shows, and you can see that she is all in pieces already, right? Let's go and see from the beginning. Left hand, left arm, forearm, shoe, calf, leg, hips, right calf, chest, neck, torso, head, and the right arm, right? So now that I have her in pieces, let's bring her back into After Effects. I already did this, but I'm gonna do it again just to show you, right? Import. You cannot see the window because you can only see the After Effects, but import, and then I'm importing the PSD project that I have. Composition, retain, you can see it. Well, do you have to choose composition, retain layer sizes? Okay. Here it is. And here we have her. This is gonna be a little bit long, but bear with me. The first thing that I do... Oh, and the reason why, if you don't know, the reason why she's cut this way is because you cut things at the joints, right? The shoulder, the elbow, where the body actually moves. The torso is kind of like one thing, the neck, the head. Same thing for the legs, right? You cut them at the knees and the ankles. And I usually do this layer, which is the hips. Not this one. This one. That's more of a stylish choice. It's just that when the leg moves, I don't want a lot of space and it looks looking weird. So I do that layer sort of like masking what's going on. But you'll see. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so let's start rigging. Forearm. Let's start from the beginning. I always change the color of the labels, and it's very important that you name each and every one of them, and it's gonna get messy really fast. So as Ben Marriott likes to say, we always label our layers, and that is so true. Okay. So this is what I do every time that I rig a character. This is gonna be a very simple one again. So we isolate the whole arm, and then I lower the opacity to see where the joints are. No, and change the anchor points to where we want them to rotate. By the way, this is shortcut Y, which is this icon right here. If you do it like this, Y, you change it, and then it lets you change the anchor point. Also very important, learn your shortcuts. The forearm should be like this, and the hand right around here. Right. So now that we have them, what we do is we go to Duik Angela. Duik Angela is this amazing plugin that has so many tools that you can use, and it has saved my life several times. You can donate to their website. It doesn't have a fixed price. I really highly suggest you go download it because it has a lot of features that you're gonna love, I promise you. But one of them is this one. So we have bones, that's what they're called. And this one is for hominoid. You can choose to do a whole skeleton of bones, but now I'm gonna do it by pieces, right? So I'm gonna choose from down to the bottom, my arm, and then my forearm, and then my hand with the anchor points already in place. That's very important. And I'm gonna choose arm. And there you have it, you have a bone. My bones, I always label them the same color as well, right? And then here you can go again, and we can select this key icon, and I'm gonna name them differently. So this is gonna be right arm, and apply. And as you can see, everything has changed right here. Then what you need to do is you need to parent the Photoshop layers to the bones. So the arm goes to the arm. The forearm goes to the forearm, and the hand goes to the hand. So the hand, I have it in a pre-comp because I thought I wanted to move the fingers, but the character is so far away that I I ended up not doing it. But if you're wondering why is it in a pre-comp, is because I actually separated all the fingers and the palm, and etc. But I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna use it as a single layer. The thing that I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna make a smaller comp because this is huge. Cool. Going back, it moved positions obviously, and again we're gonna have to change the anchor point to where we had it. Cool. The arm tip. Awesome. Now that everything is parented, we take this, we go back to Duik, and we select this thing that says Auto Rig. So what this does, it gives us a controller. And this controls the right arm. Isn't this cool? Here you go. Okay, so a few things about this controller. It always, by default, it has this auto stretch feature on, which means that I can like stretch the controller the way and it's gonna separate the layers. We don't want that. I mean, it depends on the case, but I always turn it off. And so this way, if you grab the controller and just stretch it, as far as you go, the layers are not gonna go beyond their, their capacity. So here it is. And then let's take these bones and we hide them and we put the Shy Guy on, and I always take all of the layers all the way down. I have this layer with the original, I'm going to delete it. And we turn the opacity all the way up. And we turn the Shy Guy for this as well because we're not going to use it. Okay. Then this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the torso. With the torso, I always pre-comp the torso. I'm gonna name this torso tutorial. And this is in case I want to apply other effects inside a torso, or like twist it, or apply a mesh or something to kind of give the impression that she's turning around. It's easier to have it inside a pre-comp instead of outside with the bones that I'm gonna add. And for this one, it's a bit different because it's a stiff layer, right? It doesn't bend. So to bend it, we need to choose a puppet tool. And I always do something like this, like the torso hips, torso, chest. Sometimes I do shoulders. Most of the time I do shoulders because you can like do this. But in this particular case, I'm not gonna do it because, as I said, the animation that I need is so simple that there's no need to go far and beyond, and you can save yourself some time. And then I'm gonna make this like bright pink. And then if you hit U, you can see where your puppet pins are. Now the fun thing about puppets is like it deforms your mesh, but they're really hard to animate, right? So first of all, what we're gonna do is we're gonna name it. So this is gonna be torso, hips. This is gonna be just torso. And it's gonna be chest. Once you name them, we're gonna select them. And then this is one of my favorite tools of Duik. If you go right here into links and constraints, you're gonna find this option that says add pins. Check this out. And now you have pins for your torso, which are like shape layers, which mean that you can have scale and rotation and position and a lot of things that you wouldn't have with just the puppet tool and the puppet pins, right? So I'm gonna change the color of this ones to a bright pink, and I'm gonna parent them. So chest to torso and torso to hips. And so this way, if I rotate tips, the whole thing rotates. Then if I rotate just the torso, we have a nice bending right here, which is what I want, just to not be so stiff. Okay, once we have this, before I forget, we need to go to our bone that says right arm, and we're gonna parent this to chest. Did it do it? Yes. Okay, because now if I rotate, it rotates with the arm. You can see that. And it has a very natural flow because it respects the order of the Ike rig. Okay. Now that we have that, let's go to the chest skin and the neck. Let me put it full. Okay, and the head. So the head, we're gonna change the anchor point. I'm gonna put it sort of like right here where it would bend. If you see that, like, it's kind of in the middle of the top of your head rotates, right? And I'm gonna parent this to the neck, and then the neck, I'm gonna put the anchor point a little bit lower, and I'm gonna parent the neck to the chest skin. And the chest skin is fine with the and this is just a little layer that I made because you can see here's a torso, and it kind of looks better just right about here. Just a little detail that I wanted to add. Okay, and now chest skin, we're gonna parent to chest. And again, if we move, now we move the head with everything. We're making progress. Yes. Let's see. And then we can take this, except neck probably, and hide them. I'm not gonna hide the head either, but I can hide the torso. Okay. And let's go to the right leg. Again, we select it all, turn down the opacity. I'm gonna change it to brown or whatever you want. Leg. Y on your keyboard. Here, the anchor point. Calf. Here. Foot. Here. Cool. And then with everything selected, I select the leg, the calf, the foot in order, and I go to bones, and now I'm gonna select a leg. Then we have our bones. Just put here, this here. I'm gonna take them, put them here next to them. And then again, I'm gonna change the name to right leg. Apply. And we start parenting. So right leg to thigh, right leg, right calf to calf, and right foot to foot. Let's bring the opacity up. And then we select from top to bottom of, you know, the hierarchy, our bones and auto rig. I remember when I first started doing this, it took me a while, but then I do so many of this that it becomes like an automatic thing to do, I promise. It seems a bit too much, but it's not that much. So here I have it, it creates more layers, the leg. Because if you go here, we have more controllers. If you go to the arm, we just have the controller, the hand with a bunch of things that I'm not going to explain right now because we're not going to use them. This is just a very basic rig. And then the leg, we have a foot roll. So if I actually prepare this layer with like puppet pins and separate to toes and like the ball of the foot and things like that, this would come in handy. But again, we're not going to use it for this. And so we have this. Oh, before I forget, the thigh is gonna go to the hips layer. Remember that. And now I have a controller. Let's see. Yeah, we have this controller. Love it. Okay. Let me take all these layers. We're gonna hide them. I'm gonna put the shy guy on. And then let's go here to the bottom. This is just to make it neat, because you'll see we're stacking up on layers here. The hips I'm gonna change to purple. Then let's go to left leg. Left leg. Okay, same thing. Lower the opacity. Y on the keyboard. Changing the anchor point. Calf. Here. Shoe. Yes. Then we select in order, leg, calf, shoe, hominoid, leg. And again, let's change this to left leg. I'm gonna put it here. And calf. And foot. Yes. Opacity again. And already. Sometimes it takes a while. Okay. Here we have our controller. Again, if I'm not mistaken, it's gonna do it turn into the wrong side. Let's see. Yes. This looks funny. As if she was like an ostrich or something. Okay, so all we need to do is tell it to go to the other side, to bend to the other side. So here in the controllers, you can see we have this side, and now it's in 100%. So if we move, you can see it starts to bend a little bit to the other side. Okay, so in 100%, it goes to one side. In this case, it's going to be the wrong side. And minus 100%, yeah, it's going to bend to what we need right now. Here. Cool. Okay, let's clean this up, turn the mode to red. And the leg, let's parent it. To hips, turn them off. Active the shy guy, and let's take it down. Okay. We can hide these ones, and we can hide the leg. And now we only need one more controller, which is this one. No. Let's do pink. We saw the layers, turned out the opacity. Oh, and let's go again to the hand. It's another comp, and I'm gonna make it smaller like we did on the right hand. Where is it? Okay, here. And we move it to the right spot. Okay. So arm, Y on the keyboard, moving the anchor point. Arm. Yes. Hand. Here we go. Left arm, left form, left hand. And we make an arm. And let's name this left arm. Okay. Take it down. So, left arm to left arm, left form to left form, and left hand to left hand. And let's make the outer rig. Yep, here it is. And let's remember, it comes with the outer stretch on. Actually, I don't know why this is, but you know, comes in handy sometimes. But it's another setup. Maybe we can do a character with a setup that outer stretch favors us, but not with this one. Controller's done. So we go back here. Oh, and arm. Let's parent it to chest, torso, chest. Tie them. Shy guy, take it to the back, opacity to 100, see it, and shy guy. And so right now we have 50 layers for a very, very, very limited, simple character. Okay, but it's 50 layers, and this is what I'm telling you. This can get out of hand pretty quickly, so you need to be neat. If everything works, my main controller for this are the hips. It's the hips layer that we did. And almost, I forgot. Torso, hips to hips. So this is our main control for the character. If I move this one, everything moves except the controllers, of course. Now, I have this thing that's bothering me with the hips, right? So first of all, let's clean this up. So as you can see, we have a bunch of stuff, but we can turn on the Shy Guy. Whoop. Oh yeah, it's clean, and we just need the things that we're gonna animate. So here's my layer, and the thing that I'm not very keen about is that if I move the leg, we can see this whole hip. So we're gonna do a simple thing. I'm just gonna do, yes, a mask. This is way better. Okay, we have it. Yeah. So now this is, oh, the legs also come with the auto stretch. So let's turn it up. Off, and the other leg, stretch, off. And one thing I like to do is I like to put right arm, right leg, left leg, so that I don't get all confused and stuff. Then we have our hands, as you can see. Yeah. And you can move the head up and down. And you can move the hips. She can sit down. She can go, whoa. Yay. Okay. Let's go to the shots. This is my actual timeline where I did the whole thing. And let me see. Where's my... Here, I have this marked as a Texas switch. If you don't know what a Texas switch is, Google it. It's pretty fun. So we come to this part. I changed the character using the confusion of the transition. And here we go. And here's my actually rigged character. And I have some markers here to let me know with the music, etc. And as I said, this has a very simple setup, and it has a very simple animation. So I just sat her down to be in the same position, and she just starts moving. Very, very simple. So this is the arm, the left arm, which is the one that stays on the piano. Because here it looks vertical, but at the same time in the shots, I put the anchor point where her left hand was. So while in the pre-comp she's like stretching out, here in the main comp, I rotated her and I moved the position. So I rotate her from her hand to stay on the piano, and then right around here where the piano disappears, she goes slowly out of frame. And that was it. A very simple character for a very simple scene for a relatively simple video. Let me see what else. Yeah. I got the inspiration for this for a movie called Waking Life. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's an amazing movie. It's been a while since it came out, but there's something like this that happens in the movie, and so I thought it would be cool. And well, that was the rig. But then I wanted to cover something else. So the other day I was talking to my friend Kyle. Kyle is a very good collage animator and general animator. Let me see. This is Kyle. And we're talking about renders, right? And he was asking me how I actually do my renders. And as you can see, once things start to pile up, I have a bunch of things, right? This is 54 layers of stuff. But inside of these layers, there are pre-combs, and inside those pre-combs are other keyframes. And so there comes a time where the composition starts to be really heavy for like an actual render. And on top of that, you're gonna want to do the treatment, right? So the noise that you want to put on top, maybe some color correction, things that I did here. So what I do, what I kind of always do on my renders is I do a 2-stage render workflow. What that means is that I actually just render this without any of the treatment. I might even render some proxies or some animations and bring them back without the keyframes so that they render faster. But I render this, and I render this in that MOV, QuickTime ProRes 4444, which has an alpha channel, and it has a high bitrate of color, so you don't lose a lot of quality on that render. So then what I do is, here I have a folder called proxies, and I have this one called all shots proxies, which is now my whole video, which took a while to render, but it's the whole video in just one layer. So you don't have to, if you put it back inside After Effects, it's not gonna render all the effects and all the animation and the time interpolation between keyframes, which is what makes it so heavy. And then I put that back inside, and here you can see in this comp, I called it final treatment, and have this proxy, which is just the shots, the layer that I render. So instead of putting all of the effects on top of all of this, you put the effects on top of just this one layer. And it's an HQ layer. You didn't lose any quality, so you're fine. The colors are fine. And then on top of that, I start stacking, right? So here I have the credits. You can see here my name and the name of the song, etc. I put it all the way here. But then I have this really cool kind of like vignette, like bluish vignette that I have in multiply. You can see it. And then I have a posterized time layer, and I posterize the time to 10 frames. This is one of the heaviest effects that you can do. If you put posterized time inside of your shots, unless it's like super necessary and you needed to have it here before the first render, it's gonna take such a long time. And then I have blur edges, which I always do, and you can see that a lot of people, all of animators do this, which is just an adjustment layer with blur and with a camera lens blur and with a mask. So you can see the mask. I like doing like irregular masks, so it's not that perfect. So it's gonna blur whatever it's outside the mask. And you can see it here. Like, for example, you can see these blur edges. It gives it like a notch of something really cool, I think, right? Like a little more depth. And then I have my optics compensation layer. which stretches the side of the frame, right? And you can do it in either direction, like inwards or outwards, and it also gives it a little bit more of cinematographic look and more depth to it. And then I have a color correction layer. And this time, since I really like the original colors, I just wanted to do something to like mix it up together a little better, but it's not that much. So I'm using just a aberration, chromatic aberration, like very tiny. You can see here, let me see, full. It's more prominent in the sides because I actually have it on distort. Maybe you go to the main, to the center. It's less prominent in the center, but it's just a little bit of a detail, right? And I just added a curves effect, which is just a bit of contrast, and I upped the blue layer of it all, so that it looks a little bit brighter. It's just a notch. And then this is the one that I render. And this time, since I don't need a lot of information from before, I would render again in a DAD MOV QuickTime codec, but this time I'm gonna use ProRes 422 HQ, which is a little more compressed than 4444, because if you go to the actual, let me see, you're not gonna see it, but let me tell you how heavy it is. So my final render for this one in ProRes 422 HQ is actually 35 gigabytes versus the MP4 that I have with a compression of that H.264, which is 2 gigabytes, which is a lot, to say a lot. But again, if you're gonna deliver it to a client, they're probably gonna tell you what they want. If you're gonna upload it to YouTube, I would advise to use the 422 ProRes version, even if it's 35 gigabytes. If you don't have a lot of space in your hard drive, you can delete it later, but it's worth the quality, honestly, because to be honest, H.264, it's like not such a good codec, and it has a lot of things. It crashes, dead pixels. If you're gonna upload it to YouTube, for example, YouTube compresses it anyway, so it's compressed beyond compressed. And this way you get the highest quality that you can get. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I'm gonna say hi to my friend Kyle, and yeah, I have my next episode for the Chronicles. I'm very excited about, because it's gonna be a collaboration with one of my favorite YouTube channels of all time, and it's coming soon. And I'm also gonna do a breakdown of that, and I'm gonna add some things to that. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.